Welcome back. The details. Speaker of the Arab Parliament, Dr. Adel Abdurrahman Al-Assoumi, underlined Saturday the importance of the call by the 33rd Arab Summit in Bahrain to hold an international conference to solve the Palestinian crisis. The Arab Parliament speaker's remarks came during the fourth plenary session of the fourth convention of the third legislative term. We have more details in the coming report.
The Arab Parliament held on Saturday the fourth plenary session of the fourth convocation of the third legislative term. Speaker of the Arab Parliament, Adel Abdurrahman Al-Assoumi, stressed the importance of the call issued by the 33rd Arab Summit in Bahrain to hold an international conference under the auspices of the United Nations to resolve the Palestinian issue on the basis of establishing an independent Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital. During this session, Assoumi said the Arab Summit, which was held in Bahrain, came out with strong Arab positions to support the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian people in the face of the genocidal war, foremost of which is demanding the occupying entity to immediately withdraw from Rafah, as well as an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, stopping all attempts at forced displacement, ending all forms of siege, and allowing full and sustainable access to humanitarian aid to the sector. He also hailed the increasing international recognition of the State of Palestine, as reflected in the resolution of the UN General Assembly, which was issued by an overwhelming majority to support the Palestinian state's request for full membership in the United Nations, as well as increased number of countries recognizing Palestine, most recent of which were Spain, Norway and Ireland. The Arab Parliament Speaker also praised the positions of the Arab leaders at the summit, which represented a roadmap to address the crises and conflicts in the Arab region, especially the crises in Sudan, Yemen, Libya and Syria, as well as the latest developments in the situation in Lebanon and Somalia. During the session, Assoumi said the Arab Summit, which was held in Bahrain, also came out with strong positions on several fronts. He stressed the Arab Parliament will harness all its tools and capabilities in the field of parliamentary diplomacy to support these outcomes and decisions at all levels.
Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry started a visit to France. During his visit to Paris, Shoukry participated in a ministerial meeting upon an invitation from French President Emmanuel Macron. The meeting, comprising foreign ministers of Qatar, Jordan, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, came within the framework of the French side's keenness on coordinating with Arab countries to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and end the humanitarian crisis there. The French presidency said the talks also touched upon ways to set up a Palestinian state alongside Israel. Macron organized the meeting amid growing international concerns over the Israeli genocide war in Gaza. The statement added that the five countries also discussed how to increase and deepen their cooperation and the effective implementation of the two-state solution and to respond to the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Egypt welcomed the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ, decision on Gaza. In a foreign ministry statement, Egypt said Israel was legally responsible for the deteriorating humanitarian situation in the Palestinian besieged enclave. Earlier, the ICJ ordered Israel to halt military operations in Rafah, a landmark ruling likely to increase mounting international pressure on Israel more than 7 months into its genocide war in Gaza. ICJ rulings are legally binding. However, the court has no concrete means to enforce them on the ground. On the ground, Israel bombed the Gaza Strip, including Rafah, on Saturday, despite an order from UN's top court for it to immediately halt its military offensive in the southern city. Israeli occupation forces killed 60 Palestinians and injured more than 100 others in 6 massacres in the Strip during the last 24 hours alone. Let's have a closer look.
Israel bombed the Gaza Strip, including Rafah, on Saturday, despite an order from the UN's top court for it to immediately halt its military offensive in the southern city. Israeli occupation forces killed 60 Palestinians and injured 100 in 6 massacres in the Strip during the last 24 hours. Medical sources said the number is growing due to increasing victims under the rubble and medical teams which cannot reach them. At the same time, renewed efforts were underway in Paris aimed at securing a ceasefire in the Gaza war. In a case brought by South Africa alleging the Israeli military operation amounted to genocide, the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to halt its Rafah offensive and demanded the immediate release of hostages still held by the Palestinian group Hamas. The Hague-based ICJ, whose orders are legally binding but lack direct enforcement mechanisms, also instructed Israel to keep open the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza, which Israel closed before sending troops and tanks into the besieged city and crossing earlier this month. Israel gave no indication it was preparing to change course in Rafah, insisting the court had it wrong. Hamas said that they welcomed the ruling on Rafah but criticized its decision to exclude the rest of the Palestinian territory from the order.